Next in line, please come this way. As the checkout line started to get crowded, I quickly opened the adjacent register and guided the customers. After a while, the congestion eased, and I returned to stocking the shelves.
You're amazing, Sophia. I can't believe how fast you can handle the register.
It was one of my fellow part-timers who spoke to me. There are high school students working at this supermarket, but many of my colleagues are around my age, so I enjoy working here. My name is Sophia. I am a 45-year-old part-time housewife. I have been working at this supermarket for about 10 years. When my children started elementary school, I decided to find a job, and it just so happened that the local supermarket was hiring part-timers, so I applied. Many of the employees are housewives like me, and the manager, who also has children, is very understanding of our needs. I've been working here for 10 years now, and I've become one of the senior part-timers. I've gotten to know many of the customers, and I often greet them. I also get along well with the other part-timers. But I never expected what happened next. One day, we heard that our beloved manager was being transferred, and everyone was disappointed. However, it turned out that he was being promoted to the head office, which was a step up in his career. He was a capable person, so it was no surprise. Although we were sad, we celebrated his promotion and sent him off with our best wishes. The new manager who came in was from the head office and didn't really understand the workings of the store. Although no one said it out loud, it seemed like his transfer from the head office was a demotion. He was strict but not very competent, and the atmosphere in the store started to deteriorate. According to other part-timers, the company president's wife, whose name was Mary, favored the young and handsome new manager. The manager seemed to think that being liked by Mary would be beneficial for him. We often saw him talking to her. The new manager was already unpopular, but Mary was even worse. She constantly complained about the part-timers, yet she spoke sweetly to the male employees and high school boys working part-time. We were all frustrated, but no one dared to complain to Mary. Before long, some of the part-time housewives and student workers started quitting. Just as I was beginning to think about looking for another part-time job, I somehow became Mary's target.
I heard you've been working here for a long time. Do you have children? Are they already in college? Which university?
I was surprised by the sudden questions. Yes, I've been here since the previous manager. I didn't want to talk much about my children, so I dodged the question. Then Mary said,
You look incompetent. You probably didn't graduate from a good university, did you?
Her words pierced my heart, but just then the register got busy, so I quickly went to the register. Actually, I only graduated from junior high school. I was bullied in high school and, despite trying my best, I couldn't continue and dropped out in the summer of my 12th grade. After that, I lived by working part-time jobs, met my husband at one of those jobs, and got married, living in a world where education didn't matter. But Mary is the complete opposite of me. She boasts about graduating from a famous university, even though no one asked. Yet, she never mentions the name of the university. I found it strange but wasn't particularly interested, so I always let it pass. Mary probably has a preconceived notion that housewives working part-time at a supermarket can't have a high level of education. I actually heard her say that to the manager. Does she want to look down on people? Other part-timers also said that Mary asked about their education. The next day, while I was working as usual, Mary came to the store again for some reason.
Hey, you!
I looked up as she called out to me. She looked down on me with a mocking smile. I tried to suppress my irritation as she began to speak.
I heard you only graduated from junior high school. I didn't think you went to college, but I didn't expect you to be a junior high school graduate. How can you work with such an education?
I wondered where she got that information, but then I remembered seeing the manager checking part-timers' resumes in the office the previous day. I thought it was necessary for him to know about the employees, but that information must have reached Mary. Knowing that I was a junior high school graduate, Mary somehow spread that information to other employees. Frankly, it made me feel bad. I never intended to lie about my education, but I couldn't understand why she would go around telling people I was a junior high school graduate. My part-time colleagues didn't seem to care and acted as usual, but from then on, Mary kept bringing up my education.
You probably don't understand this, being a junior high school graduate. Since you're a junior high school graduate, you should at least do the cleaning.
That became her usual line. I started thinking that I didn't need to work here if I had to put up with such comments. A few days later, Mary appeared in the store again. Just seeing her irritated me. I sighed and tried to pass by her.
Hey, clean this up.
She pointed to a spot that was just a cardboard storage area where the recycling company would come to collect, so we didn't touch it. Yet, Mary, with a sneer, seemed to deliberately make me clean it up.
People like you should be surrounded by garbage. Junior high school dropouts are just salary thieves.
This was in the back room, away from customers' eyes. Usually, I could endure her comments because they were made on the sales floor, but that day, my accumulated anger couldn't be suppressed. Excuse me, but I believe I work for the salary I receive. I work properly, and education has nothing to do with it, right? Mary seemed a bit surprised that I talked back. If you're coming to the store, why don't you do something useful? I never know why you're here. Do you come just to look down on us? You must have a lot of free time. Other employees were passing by, but I continued without caring. Mary glared at me.
Huh? Unlike someone like you, I'm busy. I made time to come to this store.
Is that so? And what do you do here? Chat happily with the manager, flirt with the male employees and high school boys, and look down on us? That's all you do, right? Mary's face turned red with anger as I spoke calmly.
Just my presence livens up the store. You should be more grateful.
I couldn't help but laugh at her words. Is that what you think? Neither the employees nor the customers think that. There are people with education who are incompetent in the field, you know. I vented my accumulated resentment. Mary probably never expected to be spoken to like that. She could only come up with a trite response.
Do you think you can keep working here after talking to me like that?
I replied smoothly. Then I'll quit. Mary laughed mockingly.
That will save on labor costs.
I smiled back. Yes, that's good for you. I headed to the locker room, Inside, a colleague who had passed by earlier had heard everything.
Sophia, are you quitting?
Having worked together for many years, she was sad. Since the manager changed, nothing has been enjoyable. We've been working out of obligation, haven't we? Many people have quit, but there's no replacement because labor costs are considered wasteful, and our burden just keeps increasing. I can't do this anymore.
That's true.
I left the locker room and went to the manager. Mary was there talking to him. Seeing me, Mary laughed.
That junior high school dropout is quitting. I wonder if there's a place that will hire her.
The manager laughed too, so I said, "Even if there's no place to work, I won't come back here. I'll return the uniform next week. Thank you for everything." As I left the supermarket, I felt strangely refreshed. The following week, when I went to the supermarket to return my uniform, the store was unusually noisy. The manager seemed to be getting scolded by several customers. There was some commotion near the register, perhaps due to a mistake, but the customers' anger was extraordinary. Since I no longer worked there, I couldn't do anything about it, so I headed to the office to drop off my uniform and leave quickly. As I approached the office, I heard Mary's voice. Reluctantly, I opened the door and saw the former manager there as well. "Oh, manager." Even though he was no longer the manager but someone from the head office, I called him that out of habit. The former manager seemed to be talking to Mary, but she quickly left the office. There was some trouble at the register. "What happened?" I asked. The former manager explained that there had been a series of complaints at the store recently. Apparently, after I quit, other part-timers and student workers also decided to quit en masse. The manager had to step in on the sales floor, but he didn't understand stocking or the register well, leading to customer complaints. Today's issue arose when Mary, who was talking to a male employee on the sales floor, was mistaken for an employee by a customer who asked her for help. Mary responded rudely, saying,
"How should I know?"
This led to further complaints when the manager inadvertently revealed her identity. Meanwhile, the registers were overwhelmed. With many part-timers quitting, employees and the manager, who rarely handled the register, made numerous mistakes. The slow service frustrated customers, and the manager was getting scolded. The former manager asked me why I quit, and I explained honestly. He then revealed that Mary hadn't graduated from university. He had heard she only graduated from high school. So what was all that academic boasting about? Was Mary looking down on people based on a delusion of having a high education? This made her seem even more problematic. Half a month later, I passed by my former supermarket, which was unusually quiet for that time of day. Given the number of complaints, it wasn't surprising. As I pondered this, I heard a voice behind me. It was the former manager. After greeting him, he informed me that a new store was opening one station away.
"Sophia, would you like to work there?"
The new store's manager was an employee the former manager had trained, so I trusted him. I nodded and contacted my former part-time colleagues. When I started at the new store, some of my former colleagues were there, which was reassuring. The new manager was understanding, and I got along well with the other employees and new part-timers. The new store introduced local delicacies and bread, which were popular with customers. I even saw some familiar faces from the old store, and the new store had a smooth start. According to the employees, the old store had very few customers, and the manager was frequently scolded in head office meetings. Many new hires quit quickly, leading to constant staff shortages. I thought everything was settled since I found a new part-time job and was enjoying work again. However, about a month after starting at the new store, Mary showed up. Given her nature, it wasn't surprising to see her at any store. It seemed she had come specifically to see me.
I heard that junior high school dropout is working at our store again, so I came to check.
I could only sigh. What do you want? I'm not doing anything wrong.
Do you realize that the other store is in chaos because of you?
Why is it my fault? I haven't done anything wrong. If anything, Mary's behavior could be considered harassment.
You made all the other employees quit, didn't you?
Mary suddenly started yelling. It was a complete accusation. Some of the part-timers who had worked at the previous store and the manager noticed and tried to help, but I stopped them. Someone like me, a junior high school graduate, can't make all the employees quit. Why don't you ask them why they left? Although, you probably already know. I could see the other part-timers nodding in agreement. If you don't understand, should I tell you? They were looked down upon by you for their education, and the manager only talked without understanding anything. No one wants to work part-time while being harassed. At that, Mary raised her voice again.
Harassment? Are you trying to frame me without any proof?
Just as Mary grabbed me, the manager stepped in.
Please stop treating our part-timers like that.
I was about to say, I'm fine. Because I didn't want the manager to get into trouble, but he spoke firmly.
I'm the manager of this store, so it's my job to protect the employees. Even if you're the company president's wife, I'll do my job.
At that, the other part-timers applauded. Mary finally let go of my arm. I took a deep breath and pulled out my phone. I have proof of the harassment. Mary glared at me as I played a video. It showed Mary yelling irrationally at other part-timers at the previous store. And it wasn't just one or two videos. Mary's face changed color. Other part-timers came over and showed her more videos as evidence. There was also a video of her insulting me for being a junior high school graduate. At that time, we had agreed to record any harassment from Mary as evidence. We hadn't actually filed a complaint, but the videos were shared among the part-timers, so we had several on hand. Manager, we are going to file a complaint against her. When I said that, the other part-timers and the manager nodded. Naturally, Mary was furious at the manager.
What about you? Do you think you can talk to me like that? You're fired. Fired.
I laughed at Mary. Oh, I recorded that too. We will protect the manager who protected us. At that, Mary's face changed color again, and she tried to leave. It seemed she was trying to escape. I called out to her back. There are things more important than education, aren't there? In society, sometimes character is more important. Are you obsessed with education because you have a complex about it? Mary turned around and said,
How did you know?
It seemed she had admitted it herself. When I laughed, the other employees laughed too, and Mary, realizing she had exposed herself, left at an unprecedented speed. After that, we really did file a complaint against Mary. We had the videos we had taken, and the manager who had been favored by Mary admitted that he had covered up her harassment to protect himself, so we had plenty of evidence. Mary couldn't escape, and we received compensation. The news spread to other stores, and similar complaints surfaced. When Mary was ordered to pay compensation, the president, who had just learned of her behavior, was furious and told her to work to pay it back. Since the supermarket was locally based, the president and Mary lived nearby. When I saw Mary working at a nearby drugstore, being scolded, I couldn't help but laugh. Since then, we have been working energetically under a trustworthy manager.
How did you like this story? Please subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.